This is Sam Stone at Comic-Con International 2022 here in San Diego with the creators of Dragon Prince. I've got Justin and Aaron here to talk about Season 4 out on Netflix this November. Gentlemen, thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for having us.
Our pleasure.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
So with this, I mean, as we saw with the clip that was unveiled at the panel, there's a time jump. There's a 2-year time jump since the big battle at the closing out Season 3.
Technically not really. I mean, because if it's Claudia and Viren, and so really we did the 2-year time jump in the last 30 seconds of the last season, just nobody knew it.
That's true. But yeah, was that always the case? Was that always kind of like, hey, we're going to come back and like Ezran's going to be king, Callum's going to be the high mage, like was that time jump always kind of baked in the story?
It's been baked in for a very long time, but not always. It's always like, I think as the saga started to unfold for us, we understood that it was going to be occurring not entirely in that first piece, and so that there would be this time jump.
I think we knew there was a jump when we did Season 3.
Oh yeah.
But we didn't know how long it was going to be. It was sort of like, it's going to be some time, and then we figured out exactly what it was.
Up until, if you had asked me, like maybe Season 3, I would have said, is Viren the most tragic character in the Dragon Prince, being manipulated and all that. But now I'm starting to wonder, is Claudia the most tragic character in the Dragon Prince?
That's a good question. I would say.
What about Callum?
I was going to say Callum. Yeah,
Devin,
our head writer, would say it's the sadness show for children, right? So there will definitely be a competition for most tragic character, for sure.
Sure.
We're also coming up on a season, like for anyone who read Through the Moon, like Rayla she's off searching for Viren, and she's been off for some time. That kind of, what is her absence kind of, how does that inform Callum and everybody moving forward?
That's a good question. I mean, I think it's hard, right? I mean, he was left by his girlfriend, right, on an important day in his life. It's his birthday when she actually takes off, and I think he's been dealing with that for 2 years. I mean, it's a long time for him.
He's messed up.
Yeah,
man.
He's messed up.
That's how it informs him.
Yeah. I mean, imagine that your loved one walks out the door and you don't see him for 2 years. It's a lot.
Went for cigarettes and never came home.
Something like that, yeah. Went for moonberries and never came back.
This is a big week for Dragon Prince, not just in terms of the panel, but this week we also saw the publication of Blood Moon Huntress, the second graphic novel, which really shines a light on Rayla's early years and how her upbringing. Like, what was it about kind of putting the focus on her for this second story in graphic novel form?
First, shout out to Nicole Andelfinger, who's a wonderful writer who wrote it. And Falia, who was a brilliant illustrator, and Devin, who also conceived the story with us. So, all the shout outs. But yeah, no, it's important to us that these characters have depth and history, and that you start to understand who they are and how that informs, the choices they're making moving forward, and who they became and what they're capable of, and all those things. So, we knew it would be delightful to see young Rayla. With her fathers and kind of the origin story of where she came from in an exciting adventure, but we also knew it would give her character greater depth.
We're also coming into like a rebuilding phase, the corrupted core and that whole legacy, but there's still tension across Zadia. Like, what is the state of Zadia, even with this time jump, as Season 4 begins? I
mean, it's complicated, sort of like everything else is, right? There was a huge fight at the end of Season 3, spoiler, go watch it. And yeah, like things have moved forward, but that doesn't mean that like all those, I mean, it's, history after history after history of horrible old wounds, right? That those are not all healed over, right? There might be a scab on some of them, but it's still really hard. And so, you'll see humans and elves interacting a lot more. But yeah, it's definitely not a solved problem, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think part of what we always knew is that as the saga kind of grew and matured and the story got a little more sophisticated, we were going to see, hey, it's not just as simple as returning an egg to a mama dragon and solving the world's problems. That's a start, that's a symbol, that's a beginning, but that there's a lot to work through and a lot of complexity that our characters are going to be facing and carrying.
When we were talking about it, you were like, reconstruction is interesting, right? The idea of like what happens after the fight, right? Like that's an interesting concept. I think we got to play in that world a bunch.
What can you tease about this new region of Zadia, Drakewood?
It's awesome. It is inhabited by some of my favorite new characters in the show.
Are there drakes in the Drakewood?
There are
Can we
drakes.
say that?
There are drakes in the Drakewood. It's not just a clever name.
What do you mean a clever name?
Yeah. So look up my history, and then you might get a hint of where the Drakewood was named. But yes, there are drakes in the Drakewood.
It's located adjacent to the uncharted.
The uncharted forest. That's right. They are next to each other. Yes, exactly. So, but it's super fun. I can't wait for people to see it.
One of the more intriguing things about season 4, and one of the big first factoids we got with season 4 is the subtitle, Mystery of I'm going to mess this up.
Erebos.
There it is. A word, yes. What is that? How does that set the tone for the story moving forward?
No, you should. This is all you.
Okay.
He came to me and he's like, I got the. He called me one morning. He's like,
I don't remember this.
I got the title. He's like, it was like right after season 3. He's like, I know what it is. And I was like, oh, cool, great, like solved. And go ahead, because it was totally came from you.
Well, I mean, that said, I think we knew very early on that there was this ancient, kind of mysterious being that we were planting, in season 1. You hear, he's the first voice you hear in the series. He opens the series. And so it took a little while to get to him and the plotting and planning and the why of what he's doing and how, and who he's using to help get things done. So it's complicated. It'll give the characters a chance to understand a lot of the deeper history of Zadia, where they came from, what maybe brought a lot of things about the current state of the world. But also, there's some mysterious and great danger. He's not just a mean, complicated man like Viren. He's a nearly immortal being of the heavens,
I think the last time we spoke was for the playtest for Tales of Zadia.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
How has that launch been? And seeing, and it's not the first time Dragon Prince has gone to tabletop, but it is in terms of like writing scripted RPG. How is it seeing characters and players kind of push the story and world into that direction?
It's awesome, right? It's fun. Fandom's done a great job of keeping up with the lore and keeping up with the fans. I think the book is absolutely incredible. If you haven't gotten it, please go get it. It's got so much cool stuff. It's absolutely beautiful, and there's all kinds of new art and lore and all that stuff. And Aaron and I and Devin, the whole writing team, worked on it pretty closely with Fandom. So it's been really, really cool to see. On Twitter, you'll see stories popping up and people being like, "Oh, this is my OC, right? This is where I'm taking the characters. This is what I would do," which is awesome. Part of the fun of a tabletop RPG is that you get to see. You just give fans the tools, and then they go crazy, right? Which is awesome. So please. Add us, right? Add us with your adventures. We want to know what you're doing with the characters.
And of course, the other big question is, there's also the Dragon Prince video game.
Yes.
How is development on that? Is there any update you can offer with development on that?
I cannot offer an update, but it's going very well. We had an awesome playtest last week, so it's going great, and we're excited, and we're hiring. Yeah. Add us for that too.
With this season, we're hitting the kind of the halfway point of we had the first 3 in the big battle for the fate of Zadia. Season 4 picks up 2 years later, reconstruction. How does this kind of inform the rest of the story, this larger form story moving forward? I feel like this is almost the keystone for everything moving forward.
Aaron.
Again, I think it's the same feeling of show, but a lot of our audience is older. They're ready for something that's heavier and bigger and more epic, and I think that's where we're going. And I don't know. We've just been really grateful to have the opportunity to tell this story and to have a team and partners who are bringing it to life with us in this incredibly rich way. And we're really proud of what's coming, and we're excited.
And I think I have time. This is always a loaded question when I do this. This
boy.
is always a loaded question. What else can you tease about Dragon Prince Season 4, the mystery of
Erebos.
As we wait eagerly for November to roll around.
Good, a tease. Let's see. I want to give you something good. I don't know.
It's not a tease, but
you got it.
some of my favorite things about the show are new characters you're meeting now for the first time, and that's something that's great. That I think there's new blood, and it's strong blood, and it's just going to enrich the show, and it's fun.
Yeah, I'd say the characters in the new places. You get to see whole swaths of Zadia you've never seen before, which is super, super exciting. So.
And you heard it here first. This is Sam Stone, the CBR at Comic-Con International 2022 in San Diego, here with the creators of Dragon Prince. Gentlemen, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you,
Thank
Sam.
you. Thanks so much.